Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed figure unboxing and review video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at none other than the DJ Custom Joker figure. Now this is a bit of a weird release. It's basically a copy of the DX11 with an entirely new rooted hair head sculpt, as well as a few other pretty darn awesome accessories. But aside from that, he pretty much comes with everything the DX11 also came with, so it'll be quite curious to see when we do some comparisons if this guy is in fact the superior release. I have seen a few early videos, and spoiler alert, he doesn't look all that fantastic right out of the box, but we will see what we can do about that. Now, I picked up mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is of course in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video. This is a review on a product that I purchased with my own money. If you do like seeing third-party and Hot Toys unboxing and review videos though, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon so you're notified as soon as brand new content goes live on the channel. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. And here of course we have the box art for the DJ Custom Joker. It's pretty darn wacky. You can see haha all over the place. You've got a Jester style image on the front there. We did actually see that on one of Joker's playing cards in the film, and of course Joker down the bottom. Now you can see DJ Custom on the side and some relevant legal information on the back. Now this is a pretty darn thick and sturdy box. Quite interesting for a third-party company. Now right off the bat on the top tray here you can see some accessories, his coat, his suit jacket, and a few other bits and pieces. Down below you do of course have the Joker himself, so let's get him out here and take a look. First, in-hand impressions aren't actually all that positive. More on that in just a second, but these hands, this is actually one of the key reasons why I picked up this release. More on this later in the video. Now you can see he does come with another tray, but also one down below that's chock full of accessories. So what we are going to do now is get all of this stuff laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. And here we have most of the accessories that come with the DJ Custom Joker. Now I have omitted the chair and table, which you'll see in the very next clip. Now let's start off by taking a look at the display base first. It's an oversized but very chunky display base. This is actually a quarter scale Entebbe display base that's been repurposed for this Joker here. It does however have a really nice real metal finish on the top and of course a metal nameplate. It is slightly too large in my opinion for a 1/6 scale figure, but nevertheless, it'll definitely do the job. Now, he does come with a tray of accessories, very similar to what we got with the DX11, except this time, the handcuffs are real metal. You also do, of course, have the pencil, potato peeler, and the knife that can be pushed out. You also do get this little piece, which was a bit of a surprise for me. It's a real die-cast Oscar. This is actually the first 1/6 scale Oscar that I have in my collection, but it's a really nice, heavy, weighty piece. And of course it comes with Heath Ledger's Joker, so it just makes sense. You do also get a DJ Custom limited edition card. I suppose they're only doing 999 of these. Then on the back it simply says Joker. You also get these, which are quite peculiar because of course with this figure there's the option of going with the forearms that don't have joints at all. So you do have these ones which are just basic plastic. Unfortunately, unlike the DX11, you don't have any paint applications or sculpt work whatsoever on these forearms, so you're gonna have to either go for the fully sculpted ones with the paint and detail, or these ones if you do want some joints. Now he does come with two guns, this one being of course a clone of what comes with the DX11, except this piece doesn't move. The magazine I don't think can come out either. You do of course have the stock which can fold backwards, and the paint applications are fairly decent. There's a dry brushing over the top and it does look enough like metal. You do also have the machine pistol. This one does have a working slide, side and a removable magazine, although you can definitely tell in hand these third-party accessories don't feel nearly as high quality as the official Hot Toys pieces. You do, however, get a bunch of hands. They're almost identical, once again, to, you guessed it, the DX11. The sculpts are very similar, and there isn't really any paint whatsoever on the gloved hands. However, on the ungloved hands, these are absolutely exceptional. There's dirt and grime and even a little bit of bruising on the knuckles there. These are painted to an exceptionally high standard. Are they as good as what comes with the DX11? Honestly, I don't think so, but it's pretty close. Now, you do also, of course, get the interchangeable outfit options. You can go with the vest look without the jacket in terms of the suit jacket and the outer jacket on, so these come separate in the box. Comparing this to the one that comes with the DX11, you can see the color is drastically different. The cut and sew is, in my opinion, a little bit sharper on the DJ Custom one. As you can see, the pockets, they just look relatively clean, compared to this one where they sort of stick out over and above the material. The lining is orange, but on the Hot Toys one, it is super shiny, whereas on the DJ Custom one, it's just more of a flat orange. It's going to be up to you which one you do prefer. It's really much of a muchness, it's just the color scheme that's different. However, where the biggest difference lies is in the coat. This one that comes with the third-party set, in my opinion, is far and away superior. The Hot Toys one had this sort of bathrobe effect to it. It was also a really thick material, whereas the DJ Custom one is quite nice and thin. Also, there's a wire around the bottom, so you can use it to get some really nice poses. Plus, the color, in my opinion, is far and away more accurate. So yes, the DJ Custom one does do a few things slightly better than the DX11, but also, as you'll see when we get to the figure, a couple of things slightly worse. Now, just before we move on to the figure himself, he does of course come with the table from the interrogation room scene, and also the chair. It's pretty much exactly as you saw with the DX11 recently on my channel. It's still a plastic piece, still does have this sort of rust effect over the top, although I will say that the fit and finish on the Hot Toys one does feel slightly superior. You can see a bit of flashing around the edges on the black parts. That kind of stuff just doesn't fly when it comes to Hot Toys. Those are much crisper. Now, you do of course get the interrogation room table. As you can see, the scratches are much deeper and much darker on this one. Really don't know what kind of interrogations are going on in this interrogation room, but nevertheless, you can see them. They are on there. The lamp is also magnetically attached, although there isn't the section where the lamp can plug in to the bottom of the table, unlike what comes with the DX11. You do still have the hole though. If you do want to perform the pencil trick, you can see the little receptacle for it on the underside. But overall, it's still a nice piece to have if you missed out on the DX11 and you want a third-party offering that's fairly close, that still comes with some of the key accessories, then honestly, this isn't too bad of a set. What we are going to do now, though, is get the Joker himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And I have to say, yeah, that's the Joker. It does the job. There are a couple of things which we do of course have to address, namely that head sculpt, which has been a point of contention for a lot of people. And also, these super weird seamless arms, or seamless forearms I should say. Honestly though, it does look fairly decent. You may be thinking to yourself right about now, Justin, you have the DX01 and you have the DX11. Why on earth would you need a third-party Joker? Well, keen-eyed viewer, it comes down to the coat that this guy does come with, which you just saw, which is fantastic, and also the slightly larger body, which means the outfit has been, again, slightly upscaled. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. I'll also potentially be swapping out this head sculpt with the maniacal laughter one that comes with the DX11, so I won't really have to deal with the rooted hair. Nevertheless, what we are going to do now is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. And here we have him up close and personal. And I have to say there are a couple of things which I really do like about this figure. And there are a couple of things which, honestly, I really don't. Let's start off with the negatives first. Comparing the head sculpt that comes on the DJ custom figure to the DX11, in my opinion, the DX11 is vastly superior. You'll have to let me know which of the two you personally prefer down in the comments below, but of course one of the key differences with this set is the fact that there is real rooted hair. That means you can kind of style it any way you like. You can use some hair gel, hairspray, whatever you want to do, and get it to look the way you want it to. The only issue for me though is unless you have it in really dark shadows like looking down, such as right there, it looks incredibly goofy. From below you can see when the light hits it, it just doesn't work. It doesn't have that sinister Joker look about it, but I have to say the paint applications aren't all that terrible. You can see the skin tone underneath the makeup that's been wiped off, and the eyes are painted relatively nicely. The only thing that I'd probably change about the way the hair is done is a little bit more brown towards the roots, because of course Heath Ledger's hair was brown before they put the green paint on it, and you could definitely tell that in the movie. But nevertheless, honestly, this isn't the worst third-party Joker head sculpt that I've ever seen, but it definitely isn't the best either. It sort of shines the best when you are looking at it from an angle such as right there. Now let's take a look at the outfit. I have left the jacket and the suit jacket off. You'll see them on the figure a little bit later in the video, but as you can see, it all fits really nicely. He's actually using a larger sized body, so this should be more in scale with the DX19. You can see as for the vest itself, it is missing the button, which is accurate to the movie, and it does taper in really nicely at the waist. In fact, the entire outfit does pretty much perfectly fit the body, and it looks really, really good. The vest does have the accurate detailing on the back, and it can be tightened. Now, I do want to talk about these, the unarticulated forearms. These are actually a bit of a game changer for me personally. I love the way they look. When you pull the sleeve down and cover up that elbow joint, they're completely seamless, so you can do the interrogation room scene, having his hands on the table without seeing any joints whatsoever. It's fantastic for figure photography, and it just looks incredibly realistic. That, coupled with the marvelous paint applications, they look really, really good. I'm curious to see though, what do y'all think about these type of hands, or I should say forearms, on figures going forward? Now moving down to the legs, he's wearing the Joker pinstripe pants, and he does have the real metal chain dangling off the side there. Finally, down at the feet, these are a little bit worse in my opinion than what comes with the DX11. These are just sculpted shoes. They're not that felt material. These are more like what we got with the DX01, with this sort of coffee-colored wash over the top. He is still at least wearing his accurate Joker socks. But overall, if you are planning on picking this up as your only Joker in your collection, you may find that head sculpt a little bit lackluster, but I personally can see a way that it would work. If you do a couple of mods and have it posed just right, it can look rather sinister. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the DX11 on the right, and the new guy, the third-party figure, on the left. There is, right off the bat, a significant size difference. You can tell the new one is on a taller body, which I personally like. That means he should be in scale with the DX19 when he eventually does come out. You could technically swap and change a couple of pieces between both of these figures to create yourself the ultimate 1/6 scale Heath Ledger Joker, which I personally am considering doing. But notably, the biggest difference is the head sculpt. One has rooted hair and one doesn't. You've already seen a side-by-side comparison, mind you, of the head sculpts themselves, but at a distance, I do still prefer the DX11 with the sculpted hair and the purrs. The new one does not have the purrs system, so no, you cannot move the eyes. One significant difference, though, is the way the outfit hugs the body on the DJ custom set. I honestly think it does look better than the Hot Toys figure. It's a little bit tighter, a little bit more form-fitting, and it isn't anywhere near as soft and prone to wrinkling. I would usually prefer the softer material, but for a business shirt and vest type deal, I think the DJ Custom set just looks far and away crisper. But that's just my opinion, you don't have to agree with me. I just slightly prefer the way the third-party outfit set looks compared to the Hot Toys figure. And of course, just for good measure, right in the bottom of the box, I had another look, and I did find the Diorama piece. It's pretty much identical to the Hot Toys one. It looks just as good when you pose him up with the desk and all of the pieces surrounding him. It does really set that scene. The only issue, however, is unlike the Hot Toys one, it doesn't come with the 3M adhesive Velcro to attach the side pieces to the back. A minor inconvenience and something that you can remedy yourself, but you will have to make a trip to your local hardware store to pick them up. Just going over articulation on the Joker. Now bear in mind, this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I'm willing to go. Now starting off with the head sculpt itself, it is actually on a fixed neck, but don't let that deter you. It has a fairly significant range of motion pretty much all the way around. It can really get the job done. The arms themselves go out to about there. They go forward pretty much the full way. There is of course a butterfly joint up there, a swivel at the bicep, there's a double joint at the elbow. Now depending on whether or not you're going with the fully seamless arms will determine whether or not you do have wrist articulation. The seamless ones don't, whereas the other ones definitely do. The only issue that I find with these is that they're facing upwards, so you can't really bring his hands in to do the clapping motion unless you sort of rotate the arms, but nobody really claps like that. Don't know why they're not facing that direction rather than this one. It's a little bit peculiar to me. Of course you can rotate it, but then that means the elbow joint is facing inwards, which isn't ideal. Now as for the torso itself, it does crunch forward, back, swivel and pivot side to side. The legs go forward to about there, they swivel at the upper thigh, they go out to about there, double bend at the knee, and of course a regular 1/6 scale joint for the ankle itself. Just wrapping up on the DJ Custom third-party Joker. Now, the interesting thing about this set is that it's not like the Daft Toys set. It's not a straight-up clone of just the DX11 outfit set. It's more than that. They've given us an entirely newly sculpted head sculpt with rooted hair, and one of the most unique things that I personally have seen in a long time being the fully seamless forearms. They're really a game changer. I personally have never experienced anything like it before. I know there have been figures to do it though, such as the Hannibal Lecter figure. He had something very similar, but I never had that figure. So for me, this is the first time experiencing it. And yeah, I really do like it. It ups the realism factor, and that coupled with the rooted hair just makes this thing come to life. Now, unfortunately, the expression and the very specific nature of how you can or should display this head sculpt kind of limits how good or bad it will look depending on your lighting, your posing, etc. What I mean by that is if you angle it down and forwards and he's in the shadows, it does look really good and ominous and mean and nasty, but if you do have it in super bright lighting, it just looks ridiculous, completely washed out, and the sculpt looks very cartoony. Now, of course, you could remedy that by using a DX11 head sculpt. Say this is your second Joker figure, like it is mine. I'm going to be potentially popping the DX11 maniacal laughter head on there, and then not having to worry about the weirdness with this sculpt whatsoever. But if you're not doing that, just know that it can look really, really good. But you do have to get all of those parameters just right. You'll see what I mean when you get it in hand. Some of the things that it does better than the DX11, such as the outfit set and also that outer jacket, I honestly think makes this thing worthwhile, including those absolutely fantastic forearm pieces. But let me know what you think of this Joker compared to the DX11 down in the comments below. If you are looking to pick this up, I purchased mine from toyswonderland.com, but don't forget it is third party party and it is unlicensed. Also, it is limited edition, so be relatively quick if it's something you think you may be interested in. Link, as I said, is in the description below. Also check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Now, for those of you wondering how I'm going to be displaying my Joker, it's going to be something like this. Obviously, the pose will be tweaked, but this is the DX11 alternate head sculpt installed on the DJ custom body. It fits, it looks really good, and I do want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's stuck around to this end credit scene. It really does help the channel if you stick around and watch the videos in their entirety, so a huge thank you goes out to you. But yeah, I really like how this looks, and as I said, I personally will more than likely be rocking my DJ custom Joker with this head sculpt.